Starting in MegaMan Battle Network 4, Navi Chips have a new feature that allows you to increase their power without using any support chips. You may have already seen this feature in multiplayer battles, either through your own experience or from watching people online. Both players will use the exact same Navi Chip, but their attack power is noticeably different. You can easily control how strong your Navi Chips are, and against real players, that can make the difference between victory and defeat. Today, we'll go over everything you need to know about increasing your Navi Chips power, including how to power up your SP Navi Chips, 2 exceptions to this method, how you can power up your DS Navi Chips, and one more important detail you should know before you get started. Let's begin with SP Navi Chips. Thankfully, they're really straightforward. When you defeat an SP Navi, you might see the words "New Record" appear on your results screen. If you ever go to the MegaMan menu, you can find a list of every SP Navi you've defeated so far. Once you've brought your record time under 30 seconds, the Navi Chip's power will permanently increase. Most Navi Chips gain an extra 5 or 10 points for every 2 seconds below 30 seconds. For example, in Blue Moon, ProtoMan SP will have 140 power if you beat him in 31 or more seconds, but will have 150 power if you beat him in 28 seconds. This pattern isn't really consistent across all Navi Chips, but you'll find that is true most of the time. To completely max out an SP Navi Chip's power, you have to defeat the boss in under 10 seconds. This increase applies to all copies of that SP Navi Chip you own. So, for example, say you defeated ProtoMan SP in under 10 seconds, but your friend hasn't defeated him in under 30 seconds yet. All of your copies of the ProtoMan SP in your game will have the max power of 240. All of your friend's ProtoMan SP chips will still have base 140 power. Even if you both trade your ProtoMan SP chips, their power levels will still remain the same. Yours will always have 240 power, and theirs will always have 140, even if the chips themselves are traded. That's because their power is tied to the time record you have in the MegaMan menu. The record won't change if you have Buster Max mode or patch cards equipped, and as a result, your SP Navi chip's power won't change either. Be sure to turn those features off while you're fighting SP Navis until you get the record that you desire. Now for the 2 exceptions. Both of these apply to 2 SP Navi chips that are exclusive to MegaMan Battle Network 5. Since you can't fight Roll or Django in these games, they have no records on the MegaMan menu. As a result, their SP chips have different requirements to power them up. Roll SP gains 5 points for every holy panel you have on your side of the field, capping at 10 panels for an additional 50 points in total. Using Roll SP will consume the holy panels you have on your field, and sadly, it doesn't consume your opponent's holy panels if they happen to have any. Although, this can be a competitive strategy if you area grab your opponent's holy panels before using a Roll SP. Django SP is much simpler. It gains power every turn and it stays in your custom window. I haven't found any concrete information about how much it increases or where its power caps, but it definitely gets stronger each turn and supposedly does more damage if land is connected to the internet from an outside location. Based on other Navi chips, my guess is that it reaches maximum power after staying in your hand for 10 turns. Although Roll and Django chips exist in MegaMan Battle Network 6, they don't have SP versions like most other Navis. Instead, they return to the standard V2 and V3 pattern from the first 3 games. That also means you can't power them up like other boss chips, but it's still worth collecting them to complete the postgame. DS Navi chips are unique for several reasons. First, they're considered evil chips, which means you can only use them when you're in the evil emotion. Second, they have 2 completely different requirements to power them up depending on the game that you're playing. In Battle Network 4, DS Navi chips are powered up for every dark hole in the field, and it caps at 10 dark holes. This is similar to how Roll SP works in Battle Network 5, only with dark holes instead of holy panels. The difference here is that after you use your DS Navi chip, the dark holes are not consumed. Battle Network 5 has an easier requirement. Instead of relying on dark holes, DS Navi chips gain power for every time MegaMan gets knocked back into the flinching position. That means if you have super armor installed, your DS Navi chips won't get powered up since you can't get knocked back while it's equipped. This is probably the only case where super armor isn't helpful. Also, since you need to get knocked back in order to strengthen your DS Navi chips, they're not the best when it comes to increasing your busting rank. On the other hand, they can easily give you an advantage in competitive online battles because busting rank doesn't matter nearly as much. And now it's time for that secret detail. You might be wondering if you can power up your Navi chips for bosses that you can't fight in your version. For example, can you power up Colonel SP in your Team ProtoMan game? The answer is a resounding yes. Amazingly enough, you can power up every SP Navi chip in the game before you start the main story. All you have to do is go to the multiplayer menu and compare records with another player. The records that are higher will be saved to the other player's game, and the SP Navi chips will be powered up to reflect this. To continue our previous example, that means you can use Colonel SP in Team ProtoMan's game at its max power of 300, even though you can't fight Colonel in Team ProtoMan's version at all.